ever experienced a major breakup, a sudden career shift, or an intense family conflict that seemed completely overwhelming, only to realize years later it was a necessary catalyst for your growth? Did the turmoil feel fated, like the universe was demanding a radical change that you couldn't resist? If so, you were likely experiencing a Dasha Sandhi. It's the cosmic handover period where one planetary cycle ends and another begins. This video will give you the crucial spiritual wisdom to navigate these unavoidable, life-altering transitions with grace instead of panic. So welcome back to Karmic Keys to Difficult Relationships series. We've looked at the contracts in your houses and the core wounds from your parents. Today, we address the timing of fate. We're talking about the most stressful yet significant periods of your life, when the universe clears the slate, often starting with your relationships. So in Vedic astrology, life is measured by planetary cycles called dashas, which can last anywhere from 6 to 20 years. A Dasha Sandhi literally means the joining of two major periods, and it's the fragile, highly active 6 to 18-month window where the energy of the old ruling planet is fading out and the energy of the new planet is ramping up. Yeah, imagine handing a cosmic steering wheel from one powerful karmic driver to the next. The transition is never smooth, especially in relationships. The outgoing planet demands final repayment of its karma, and the incoming planet demands new commitments based on its nature. Since relationships thrive on stability, these periods often trigger crises, misunderstandings, or dramatic necessary endings that force you to align with the new cosmic mandate. Now let's look at a few common examples of Dasha Sandhi to show how the energy of the ending and beginning planets creates highly specific relationship turmoil. Now this helps you know exactly what lesson the universe is teaching you. So, if you are moving from, say, a moon dasha to a Mars dasha, which is what happens next, the ending will be marked by extreme emotional volatility, impulsive fighting, and sudden angry severance. The new Mars energy demands you cut off ties quickly to start a new energetic cycle. Now, if you're moving from a Jupiter dasha to a Saturn dasha, the ending will be marked by feeling overly burdened, cold detachment, and profound pessimism, depending on your chart's ascendant. The outgoing Jupiter is forcing you to let go of philosophical ideals and face Saturn's hard reality of responsibility and restriction. Now, let's look at more complex shifts. If you're moving from Mars to Rahu, the transition is highly volatile. The ending Mars dasha often brings intense fighting or sudden reverence, just like when it starts. But the incoming Rahu dasha immediately replaces that clarity with illusion, obsession, and anxiety. The turmoil shifts from physical conflict to a mental chaos, often leaving you feeling completely uncertain. The universe is forcing you to trade courage for discernment. If you move from Rahu to Jupiter, this is a profound spiritual cleansing. The outgoing Rahu dasha ends with a sense of disillusionment or even confusion, revealing the illusion that you were obsessed with. The incoming Jupiter dasha demands that you immediately adopt higher ethical standards, wisdom, and tolerance. You might abruptly end a misleading relationship to start one that's based purely on principles and truth. A transition from Saturn to Mercury shifts the focus from heavy emotion to intellect. The outgoing Saturn Dasha brings profound coldness, resentment, or depression. It can bring all that. A heavy delayed ending. The incoming Mercury Dasha demands communication, lightheartedness, and analysis. The lesson is to stop carrying the burden of the past and start communicating consciously to find new, flexible arrangements. Moving from Mercury to Ketu is a fast track to spiritual detachment. The outgoing Mercury Dasha is often marked by overanalysis or excessive communication, trying to talk your way through problems. The incoming Ketu Dasha suddenly cuts off the mental noise, forcing an abrupt severance or silent detachment. The universe demands that you trade logic for intuition and not attachment. If you're transitioning from Ketu to Venus, the energy moves from spiritual isolation to material connection. So opposite. The outgoing Ketu Dasha ends with confusion or deep dissatisfaction with the world. The incoming Venus Dasha demands that you focus on harmony, self-worth, and beauty, and relationships. The relationship lesson is to move past ascetic detachment and consciously engage with creating true value and love in the material world. That's Venus. Now the shift from Venus to Sun is about trading affection for authority. The outgoing Venus Dasha might end with issues around self-worth, indulgence, or intimacy. The incoming Sun Dasha demands leadership, humility, and self-authority. So the relationship crisis will often revolve around who's in charge or a need to stand independently, forcing you to develop your own inner king in the Sun. Finally, moving from Sun to Moon, it's the only one that's left, it shifts the focus from authority to emotion. The outgoing Sun Dasha involves challenges to your ego, pride, or identity. However, the incoming Moon Dasha immediately plunges you into emotional sensitivity, volatility, and deep dependency. The transition requires you to move from external validation to internal self-nurturing and empathy. See, understanding these transitions allows you to anticipate the nature of the stress and consciously embrace the incoming planet's virtue, making the ending less painful and more purposeful. The only way to navigate this intense pressure without shattering is to consciously cultivate the virtue of acceptance and integrate the qualities of both the incoming and outgoing planets. The moment you consciously embody the virtue of the incoming planet, you ease the karmic pressure of the outgoing planet. Now let's look at the virtues that are needed. When the Sun is involved in the change, you cultivate humility and self-authority. Remove the ego. When the Moon is involved, you cultivate emotional independence and nurturing. When the Mars is involved, cultivate courage and right action, setting boundaries. When Mercury is involved, you cultivate mindful communication and discernment. When Jupiter is involved, you cultivate tolerance and maturity and wisdom. When Venus is involved, you cultivate true self-worth and self-respect. When Saturn is involved, you cultivate patience and maturity and taking responsibility. When Rahu Ketu is involved, you cultivate discernment and detachment, non-attachment. You use the wisdom of the old cycle to fully embrace the challenge of the new. The most effective remedies for Dasha Sandhi are focused on purification and conscious handover, ensuring you don't carry old burdens into the new cycle. First, honoring both planets. We dedicate time to say thanks to the old planet. You can seek its forgiveness for any lessons that you didn't learn and thank them for any lessons you learned. If it resonates with you, you can chant the mantras of the outgoing and the incoming planet. Incoming to invite its energy positively. Second, you can do the conscious letting go ritual. This is a powerful remedy. You can write a list of all the resentments, dependencies, and expectations that you had in the relationship that is ending or transforming. So on the day that's ruled by the outgoing planet, you can respectfully burn the list, symbolizing the conscious release of that planet's specific burden. Just all symbolic, but it's meaningful. Third is the purification. You can increase your service, your selfless service, during the entire 18-month window. You serving others, especially anonymously, will act as a cosmic pressure release valve, purifying that difficult karma being settled by the transition. Now let's summarize the immense spiritual work that you accomplish when you consciously navigate a Dasha Sandhi. These periods are the soul's equivalent of a software update. They are mandatory. And if you resist, the system crashes. The turmoil is not a sign of failure. It is proof that your soul is ready for a major karmic upgrade. You're learning to move beyond the limited lessons of the past dasha and embrace the vast new territory of the next. When you allow a relationship to end during this transition, you are practicing the highest virtue of non-attachment. You are trusting. You're trusting the divine timing and recognizing that the contract served its purpose under the old planetary energy. By integrating the virtues that we discussed, whether it's courage for Mars or patience for Saturn, you stop being a victim of fate and become the conscious co-creator of your future. The pain of the ending becomes the power of the new beginning. This acceptance is the truest expression of freedom. So here are your assignments to begin embracing these profound transitions. First, I want to know, tell me in the comments, what is the primary virtue, courage, patience, non-attachment, that you commit to cultivating when facing inevitable change? And what is the one thing that you will consciously let go of today that you have been holding on to from a past relationship? Second, let's turn this knowledge into action. Perform a simple, conscious letting go ritual by writing down one resentment and safely destroying the paper. You can shred it, you can cut it, you can just rip it up. And finally, share this video with anyone who needs validation that the chaos that they are experiencing right now is not random, but part of a powerful divine plan. Knowledge is meant to be shared, and that's what I'm doing for you. If you'd like to connect with us to take a deep dive into your own chart, you can click on the link in the About section. Now, this concludes our series, which is called Karmic Keys to Difficult Relationships. We have covered the contracts, the wounds, and the timing. We've given you the keys to transform your past pain into future wisdom. Hit the notification bell right now so you stay updated on all our new wisdom that's about to come in the next videos. Thank you for watching, and thank yourself for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Vedic wisdom. And that's all for today.